Why do so many fail in life, betrayed by friends, crushed by rivals, and forgotten by history? It is not fate. It is ignorance. Ignorance of power, of strategy, of human nature itself. Tonight, I shall uncover the eternal laws that govern men, the lessons of Niccolò Machiavelli, and the 48 laws of power. This knowledge will not make you good. It will make you dangerous. The eternal struggle for power. It is the one war that never ends, the silent battlefield on which every man and woman stands from the moment of birth until their final breath. Do not be deceived by the illusions of peace, for even in times of calm, the war rages. It rages in politics, in families, in business, and in friendships. The strong advance, the weak retreat. The ambitious climb, while the naive are trampled. You may not call it war, but you feel it. Every time someone undermines you, every time envy poisons a relationship, every time your achievements are met with concealed hostility. Human beings are not born content. They are restless creatures, endlessly reaching for more wealth, more recognition, more influence, and when they cannot have it, they envy those who do. Envy is not a flaw in human nature, it is the very pulse of it. And from envy comes rivalry. From rivalry comes betrayal. Do you truly believe that your success will be celebrated? Perhaps to your face, yes. But behind the mask of congratulations lies resentment. Your victories remind others of their failures, and that is a pain they cannot forgive. This is why life is war. It is not the kind of war fought with swords and cannons, but with whispers, with alliances, with deceit and ambition. Machiavelli himself observed that men are quick to forget the death of a father, but never forget the loss of inheritance. Why? Because possessions, titles, positions of advantage, these are not mere ornaments. They are the trophies of the eternal struggle. To lose them is to lose face, to lose standing, to lose power, and so men fight. Some fight openly, others fight silently, with daggers concealed beneath their cloaks, but all fight. The greatest mistake a person can make is to deny this truth. The weak soul comforts itself with illusions. If I am kind, others will be kind to me. If I am loyal, I will be rewarded. If I speak truth, I will be respected. No, such thoughts are the fantasies of sheep awaiting slaughter. For the ambitious man will smile at your kindness, then take what is yours. He will exploit your loyalty and discard you when it suits him. He will twist your truth into a weapon against you. And when you wonder why you suffer, it will be because you did not understand the rules of the game. Look around you. Every empire, every kingdom, every corporation, every family dynasty has been built upon this same struggle. Brothers turn against brothers, allies against allies, rulers against their closest advisors. It has always been so. It will always be so. For human nature does not change. Strip away the surface of civilization, the laws, the rituals, the polite manners, and what remains? Desire, fear, ambition, envy. These are the true rulers of mankind. To understand the eternal struggle for power is to understand that survival is not enough. Survival is merely the condition of the herd. Power is the true prize. Without power, your voice is silenced, your influence ignored, your legacy forgotten. You may think yourself free, but without power, you live at the mercy of others. Employers, governments, lovers, even friends. At any moment, they may withdraw their favor, and you will be left exposed. Power is the shield that protects you, the sword that carves your path, and yet power is never stable. It must be defended. It must be expanded. For the moment you grow complacent, another rises to challenge you. History is filled with rulers who believed their thrones secure, only to be overthrown by rivals they underestimated. The same pattern plays out today, though the thrones may be offices, companies, or reputations. You are never safe. The struggle never ends. You might ask, why must it be this way? Why cannot men be satisfied with harmony? The answer lies in the nature of desire itself. Desire has no end. The man who possesses one coin desires two. The man who commands one province desires a kingdom. The man who holds a kingdom desires an empire. And even the emperor dreams of immortality to be remembered beyond the grave. Ambition is a fire, and fire consumes until nothing remains. This is why those who dream of universal peace are forever disappointed. They do not grasp the truth. Human beings are not built for peace. They are built for conquest. This struggle is not evil. It is not good. It simply is. Just as the lion hunts the gazelle, not out of malice but necessity, so too do men seek advantage over one another. To label it as wickedness is to misunderstand its nature. The struggle is neither moral nor immoral. It is the condition of existence. To deny it is to live blind. To accept it is to step onto the field of battle with eyes wide open. And what of those who refuse to fight? They are not spared, they are consumed. Their passivity does not shield them, it marks them as prey. Look closely at the lives of the powerless. You will see a pattern of exploitation, of being used as tools for the designs of others. They obey, they submit, they suffer. And when they complain of injustice, the world shrugs, for weakness has never commanded sympathy. Even the weak despise the weak. Thus the eternal struggle for power is not a choice. It is a reality that surrounds you, binds you, defines you. Whether you wish to play or not, you are already a piece upon the board. The only question is this: will you be a pawn moved at the will of others, or will you seize the role of player, mastering the moves, commanding the game itself? Machiavelli's realism versus the illusions of morality. Here lies the dividing line between those who rule and those who are ruled. Most people live trapped within illusions. They cling to the belief that goodness will be rewarded, that honesty will be valued, that loyalty will be returned in kind. They hope that morality governs the world when in truth power does. And so they live as dreamers, crushed by those who see reality as it is. Machiavelli understood this better than any man of his age. He dared to speak the truth that others feared to whisper. He declared that a ruler must not be guided by what should be, but by what is. What should be is the language of priests and philosophers. What is the terrain of rulers, generals, and conquerors. Morality is an illusion crafted to tame the weak, to keep the masses docile, obedient, and controllable. The man who chases ideals of virtue is chained, while the man who grasps reality is free. Consider the words that echo through time: it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Why? Because love is fickle, fragile, easily dissolved when tested by hardship or self-interest. But fear endures. Fear compels obedience when love falters. The man who seeks to be loved places his fate in the hands of others, but the man who inspires fear places his fate in his own. Do not mistake this for cruelty without purpose. Machiavelli was no advocate of mindless violence. He knew that too much cruelty breeds hatred, and hatred leads to rebellion. But he understood that a ruler must be willing to do what is necessary, even when it offends morality. Mercy may be noble, but sometimes cruelty is kinder. A swift and ruthless punishment may prevent years of chaos. A single execution may save thousands of lives. This is the cold logic of realism. The 48 laws of power echo this wisdom in modern form. They teach us that appearances are more important than reality, that intentions must be concealed, that power lies not in virtue but in perception and strategy. People do not want truth, they want comfort. They do not want justice, they want order. They do not want honesty, they want stories that flatter their vanity. A wise ruler or a wise player in life gives them these illusions. He wraps his ambition in the cloak of morality, while beneath the cloak he sharpens his blade. Why do the illusions of morality hold such power over the masses? Because people fear the truth. The truth reveals their weakness. The truth exposes their envy, their greed, their lust, and so they dress their desires in the clothing of virtue. They say they fight for justice when they fight for advantage. They say they demand equality when they seek to take what others possess. They say they value honesty, but they lie daily to themselves. The wise man sees through this theater. He knows morality is the stage play of society, and those who act upon it most convincingly gain influence. History is a graveyard of rulers who mistook ideals for reality. Kings who trusted in loyalty, betrayed by their closest allies. Generals who showed mercy to enemies, only to face them again on the battlefield. politicians who believed honesty would win votes, destroyed by rivals who lied with greater skill. The world remembers their failure, not their virtue, for in the end, results matter more than intentions. Survival matters more than honor. Power matters more than morality. But look carefully, and you will see that even those who preach morality rarely practice it. The priest speaks of poverty, yet collects wealth. The politician speaks of truth, yet thrives on lies. The businessman speaks of fairness, yet exploits the weak. Hypocrisy is not an accident of human nature. It is the method by which the powerful rule the naive. They hold morality as a mirror to blind the herd, while behind it they manipulate without restraint. Machiavelli taught that a ruler must learn to be not only a lion, but also a fox. The lion embodies force, the fox embodies cunning. The lion crushes enemies with strength. The fox avoids traps with deception. Without the lion, one is too weak. Without the fox, one is too blind. Together they form the complete ruler, feared, respected, and untouchable. The illusions of morality teach you to be only a lamb, harmless and vulnerable. But realism commands you to master both the lion and the fox, and never to trust the sheep. Do you see now the danger of illusions? They are comforting, yes, but they are deadly. To live by them is to be devoured by those who do not. Imagine a player entering a game believing that the rules are fairness and honesty, when in truth the rules are deception and advantage. That player will lose every time, so too in life. Those who cling to morality as an absolute are crushed by those who see it as a tool. And yet, appearances must always be maintained. For even while one discards morality in practice, one must appear moral in public. Machiavelli warned that men judge more by their eyes than by their hands. They see what you show them, not what you do. Therefore, a ruler should appear merciful, faithful, humane, religious, and upright. Appearances cost nothing, but they buy loyalty and trust. Behind the mask, however, one must be ready to act against these virtues whenever necessary. This is the double life of power, to embrace realism in secret, and to project morality in public. The masses, after all, cannot bear the truth. They would revolt against a ruler who openly scorned morality, even though that same ruler's strength may secure their safety. So the wise man deceives them, feeds them illusions, and leads them while serving his own ends. This is not hypocrisy. It is strategy. It is survival, the psychology of human nature. To understand power, you must first understand man. Not the idealized man painted by philosophers, nor the noble figure praised by preachers, but man as he truly is, flawed, hungry, envious, fearful, and self-serving. To misjudge human nature is the first mistake of the weak. To see it clearly is the first step toward mastery. Men present themselves as loyal, honest, and virtuous, but strip away the mask, and you will find a heart ruled not by virtue, but by need. Every man desires more than he has. Every man measures himself against his neighbor. If you succeed, he feels smaller. If you rise, he feels threatened. Even your friends, though they may embrace you in celebration, often burn with hidden resentment at your victories. They cheer your ascent only so long as it does not cast too large a shadow over their own ambitions. This is why power is dangerous. It does not merely elevate you, it exposes you. The higher you rise, the more eyes fix upon you. Some watch in admiration, but most in envy. Envy is the most powerful and corrosive of human emotions. It poisons loyalty, it erodes friendships, it drives betrayal. Machiavelli knew that men would rather see you ruined than see themselves overshadowed by your success. The wise player must always account for envy, for it lurks everywhere, silent and smiling. Consider how people truly judge one another. They do not admire honesty when it costs them comfort. They do not honor loyalty when betrayal promises advantage. They are moved not by truth, but by appearances, not by justice, but by self-interest. Give them what they crave, security, illusions, stories that flatter their vanity, and they will call you good. Deny them these comforts, and they will call you cruel, even if you have been fair. Morality, to the masses, is nothing but a reflection of their own desires. Fear, too, governs man more strongly than love or reason. Men may profess loyalty, but when faced with fear, their true nature emerges. Fear compels action where love falters. Fear keeps men obedient long after admiration fades. And yet, fear must be carefully measured. Excessive fear breeds hatred, and hatred ignites rebellion. The ruler, the leader, the strategist must learn to inspire enough fear to command respect, but not so much as to invite vengeance. It is a delicate balance, but a necessary one, for love alone cannot protect power. Observe also how men are dazzled by appearances. They are creatures of the eye, not the mind. They judge by what they see, not by what is. A man dressed in finery is assumed to possess wealth, even if he is drowning in debt. A leader who speaks with confidence is believed to be strong, even if he trembles in private. Appearances shape perception, and perception is stronger than reality. Machiavelli taught that rulers must learn to craft illusions, for the masses are moved more by theater than by truth. To appear virtuous is more valuable than to be virtuous. To appear powerful is often as effective as being powerful. Weakness, however, is never forgiven. Men despise weakness, even in those they love. Show too much need, too much vulnerability, and you will find respect evaporates. A friend may comfort you in your suffering, but in his heart, he looks down upon you. A ruler who reveals doubt soon invites conspiracies. A leader who reveals fear soon invites challenges. Human beings may sympathize with weakness, but they never admire it, and admiration is the currency of power. Betrayal, too, is woven into the fabric of human nature. Men betray not because they are monsters, but because they are opportunists. If loyalty serves their interests, they are loyal. If betrayal offers more, they betray. This is the truth that idealists refuse to accept. They believe promises are sacred, when in reality promises are tools. They believe loyalty is eternal, when in reality loyalty is a temporary alignment of interests. To trust blindly in the loyalty of others is to hand them the knife with which they will one day strike you. Understand this: men are not constant. They are weather, shifting with the winds of fortune. When you are strong, they follow. When you are weak, they scatter. When you are generous, they praise you. When you withhold, they curse you. To expect consistency from them is folly. The wise ruler anticipates change, prepares for it, and never assumes that today's I will not be tomorrow's enemy. Yet in this fickle nature lies opportunity. Because men are ruled by emotion, they can be guided, deceived, and led. They crave illusions more than truth, and he who provides those illusions holds their loyalty. They crave strength more than fairness, and he who projects power holds their obedience. They crave recognition more than justice, and he who feeds their vanity holds their admiration. Human nature may be flawed, but its flaws are predictable, and what is predictable can be exploited. This is the true psychology of man. He admires strength, yet resents it. He despises weakness, yet expects mercy. He craves loyalty, yet betrays when convenient. He demands honesty, yet believes only what flatters him. He is a paradox filled with contradictions, but in these contradictions lie the keys to control. The wise ruler, the cunning strategist, does not despair at human weakness. He studies it, learns it, and turns it into a weapon. For to understand human nature is not to lament it, it is to master it. The problem we solve is ancient, and it devours countless lives generation after generation. It is the problem of ignorance, not ignorance of books or learning, but ignorance of the true rules that govern human affairs. Men suffer not because the world is cruel, but because they do not understand how cruelty operates. They fall into traps not because the traps are hidden, but because they close their eyes to the reality that men are wolves in disguise. Look at the lives of most people. They labor, they strive, they love, they sacrifice, yet they remain powerless. They believe they are victims of chance or fate or injustice. But the truth is simpler. They misunderstand human nature, they misunderstand power, and in misunderstanding, they make themselves prey. They imagine the world as a moral stage, when in truth it is a chessboard. And on this board, those who do not play the game are not spared. They are simply pieces moved and discarded by others. The problem we solve is blindness. Blindness to envy, blindness to ambition, blindness to betrayal. How many have been destroyed by trusting too deeply in loyalty that was never real? How many have fallen because they mistook kindness for friendship, or promises for truth? The weak man tells himself that people are good at heart. The wise man sees that goodness is only a mask worn when convenient. To believe otherwise is to invite disaster. Consider how often failure comes not from lack of talent, but from lack of understanding. The ambitious worker believes that hard work alone will earn him recognition. He labors tirelessly, yet another more cunning, more strategic, takes the prize. The ruler believes his subjects love him for his generosity, yet when fortune changes, they abandon him for a rival who inspires more fear or promises greater rewards. The lover believes in eternal devotion, only to be betrayed when new opportunities appear. Again and again, men suffer not because they lacked ability, but because they failed to grasp the laws that govern behavior. This is why knowledge of power is salvation. To solve the problem of ignorance, one must first see men as they are, not as one wishes them to be. Men are not noble, they are self-interested. They are guided more by fear than gratitude, more by appearances than truth, more by gain than loyalty. To deny this is to live in chains, to accept it is to seize the first key to freedom. The problem we solve is the trap of morality when applied without strategy. Men are taught from childhood to be honest, to be kind, to trust, to forgive. These lessons may have value in private, but when carried into the battlefield of life, they become shackles. The man who is too honest reveals his intentions and is outmaneuvered. The man who is too kind is exploited by opportunists. The man who trusts without suspicion is betrayed. The man who forgives without limit is destroyed by the same offense repeated. Virtue without power is weakness. Virtue without caution is suicide. To solve this problem, one must separate the mask from the face. One must learn to appear moral while acting according to necessity. One must speak of loyalty while preparing for betrayal. Preach honesty while concealing intention. Display kindness while wielding ruthlessness when required. The masses, after all, do not want reality. They want illusions. Give them the appearance of virtue, and they will call you good. But behind the mask, practice realism, and you will survive where others fall. The problem we solve is also the fear of power itself. Many shrink from power, telling themselves it is corrupt, dangerous, immoral. But this is another illusion designed to keep them docile. For power is not evil. Power is neutral, like fire. It can warm a city or burn it. It can feed the hungry or destroy the harvest. What makes power dangerous is not power itself, but ignorance in wielding it. To fear power is to surrender it to others. To master power is to control your destiny. Think of how many lives are wasted because they play the wrong game. They invest in being good when they should invest in being strong. They seek to be loved when they should seek to be respected. They hope for fairness in a world that is built on advantage. They complain of betrayal without realizing betrayal is the default, not the exception. These are not tragedies of fate. These are failures of understanding. The problem we solve is vulnerability. The vulnerability of those who believe appearances, who trust words over actions, who assume loyalty where only self-interest exists. These are the ones who are always surprised, always disappointed, always crushed. But the man who learns the true laws of power is never surprised. He expects betrayal, and so it does not wound him. He anticipates envy, and so he turns it to his advantage. He knows appearances deceive, and so he creates his own illusions to deceive others. This is why so few rise above the herd, not because they are chosen by destiny, but because they refuse to live by the illusions that enslave the masses. They see human nature for what it is, predictable, flawed, and exploitable. And with this knowledge, they cease to be victims, they become players, they cease to be prey, they become predators, they cease to complain of the cruelty of the world, they bend the cruelty of the world to their will. You have now seen what most men refuse to see: the eternal struggle for power, the illusions of morality, the hidden psychology of human nature, and the blindness that keeps the masses enslaved. These are not theories. They are the rules by which the world has always been governed. Understand this: men are not noble, they are ambitious. They are not loyal, they are opportunistic. They are not just, they are self-serving. To live without this knowledge is to live blind, to walk willingly into the jaws of betrayal, envy, and defeat. But to live with this knowledge is to hold the map of survival, the blueprint of mastery, the arsenal of strategy. The world does not reward virtue, it rewards power. The world does not remember intentions, it remembers results. The world does not belong to the honest, it belongs to the cunning, to the strong, to those who dare to strip away illusions and wield reality as a weapon. So choose now what you will be: a pawn moved by the hands of others, or a player commanding the board, a victim of envy and betrayal, or a master of them, a dreamer lost in illusions, or a ruler who shapes destiny itself. The choice is yours, but remember this: history does not wait for the weak. It is written only by the powerful.